morning, St. Lucia. I hope you're feeling good, everybody, because you know what? We're having an amazing day. As you can see, it's nice and sunshiny as we do here. And I want to welcome our special guest. This is Sonia White, and she's a friend of ours. And we're at the complex because it's all about Rainforest of Reading. So first of all, welcome back to St. Lucia.
Thank you very much. It's a thrill to be back for the 4th annual Rainforest of Reading. We have about 1,700 grade 3, 4, and 5 students from districts 3 and 4 here today. And this is all about celebrating the love of reading and the power that literacy can bring to our children. Our students here have been reading 11 different picture books that have been sent previously a number of weeks ago to every school, every grade 3, 4, and 5 classroom in every school in the country, with lots of passports where they get to record some of their thoughts about each book. The teachers have program guides and incentive stickers to really motivate those kids to read as many of the books as they can before they come today. And then it's just like a rock concert of joy, really. They are meeting authors and illustrators from the books. They are engaged in literacy-based activities. And it's student-centered, which is so very important to really get kids hooked on the power of literacy. So today's a really special day.
Good. And you know what, too? I like the approach because even here in St. Lucia, even for me growing up, reading, I will be honest, people, I didn't really like it. Thank God I'm articulate. But I didn't like it because it always felt like it was a punishment. It would be like, okay, you've not done this, put off the TV, go get a book, you know? So I think the approach is really what can make a difference to help kids just love reading.
No, we agree. And our position is reading doesn't have to be just this task that an adult is telling you you have to go do, whether it's your parent or your teacher. Reading connects us. It's what it makes us have reactions to things, and we're supposed to feel things whether we're upset or curious or we laugh or we cry. And that's the beauty of the human response, is when we read things, that's the reaction we get. And so that we really need our children and our youth, who are going to be our leaders tomorrow before we know it, to be inspired to read, to be innovative and creative thinkers, because these are the kids that will come up with solutions to our local problems.
And you know what? I'm so with you there on that, Sonia. And as you can tell, she said, you know, rock star of energy. I think that was perfect to describe it. She is full of energy herself, and that's really what we need to engage the kids. So things are just really picking up here today, but it's not the final day because there's still more to come for actually on Friday too, Thursday and Friday.
Correct. Friday down at Philip Marcelin Grounds in Vieux-Fort, we will see the other districts, 5, 6, 7, and 8. We expect about 4,000 kids there. And if you at home would like to support literacy, first of all, read with your kids every day. So valuable. But you can also follow all of our coverage on our social media sites on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. So that's at One World Schoolhouse, and you'll see all of the live action here that's happening today, yesterday, and for Friday as well.
Great. And you know, with this initiative, what you may not know and what I've learned is that St. Lucia is just one of the islands fortunate enough to be benefiting from this. So there are a few other islands in the region. So I want to say a special good morning to all of our friends in Canada. You need to be here in our sunshine as well, because we need to give you guys big thanks, because One World Treehouse Foundation is actually based in Canada. So just tell us a little bit more about that.
So we are located in a smaller city called Guelph, which is in the province of Ontario in Canada. And initially we started just collecting books, gently used and new books, to inject them into schools that don't have enough literacy resources. And for all of our schools, we want to make sure that kids have access to printed material. And from there, this initiative just sort of was born from it, to try to really create this excitement around reading. It's one thing to have books in your school, but if you're not interested in reading, they're just going to sit on a shelf, and that defeats the purpose. So this program is really about getting the books in place, and with all of our wonderful supporters back in Ontario that have helped us collect books so that we can send them to schools that need more resources, and the kids deserve it. So it's a great program.
We definitely do. So again, big shout out to all our friends in Canada. Sonia, we got to thank you again for this initiative. We're going to be looking forward to year number 5 and more. So, because with this kind of energy, this is what our kids need around the globe, okay?
I have to say thank you for all of your support. St. Lucia is really like a second home to us.
Ha!
And especially when we just heard they got a foot of snow. And so we're laughing at all of our friends that weren't able to come because they're shoveling out their driveways, and we're here in this glorious, glorious country. So thank you for having us.
You're welcome. You see, because St. Lucia is home, so Sonia is here, I'm here, and there's still so much action. So we're gonna go catch everything else that's going. You guys enjoy the rest, and make sure you follow them on their social media and other handles. All right, we'll bring you more. Good morning, St. Lucia. Wake up, everybody. If you're still in bed, this is the moment that you need to get out. I'm your host, Sheila Mendes, and I'm so sorry. This is our good friend, Richard Clues, and he is from One World School Foundation, and they are here because there's a really big movement happening, and it's going to be a run for literacy, but Richard is going to tell us more about exactly what it is, what it's called, and why you need to be part of it, St. Lucia.
Thank you. Bonjour, Saint Lucie. Ça qu'a fait?
Yeah, he's at home
Voilà. Last year I ran the entire country in January of 2016 and had a good time doing it. And along the way, children said to me, expressed the belief that they could do the run too. So this year, in July, what we're going to be doing is reenacting a national relay. We're calling it Find 52,000. And the idea is to engage everyone in the benefits of literacy by training and then fully completing a series of segments that add up to 198 kilometers. That's the circle that describes the country of St. Lucia. So it's all about literacy and creating an appetite for reading, and it complements our annual programs, which are called the Rainforest of Reading, that goes into every school, every primary school in the country, grade 3, 4, and 5.
And you know what, I stand corrected because again, this is brought to us by our friends from One World Schoolhouse Foundation. So we got to get it right because you need to follow them on their social media handles as well. Now, Richard, I think this is a really fun initiative and a different way to really bring awareness for literacy. So really, how did the idea come about?
Well, I think the idea is this, that we so often, we've got a couple of drummers here. Boys, there we go. We have to get him in the race because we need a pacer. The idea of a road race is that it emphasizes that in many ways learning and succeeding in life, you don't know what's around the corner, but you know there's a road. Yep. And that road also connects all of us. So whether you're living in Anse-Lorraine or Millet or Orléans or Babineau or Desbaois, there's a road that can take you to the road that leads to Castries or to your family or to your job. And that's the initiative, that's the idea behind the initiative, to connect people and to get people to understand that no matter where you live in the world runs on reading.
It's true. And you know, this is something even down here, too often you find kids don't really like reading, but we need to also be creative, and which is what I like, especially, you know, you guys have seen Rainforest of Reading. So it's very interactive, and we have to think differently because just because somebody's also not reading a traditional book doesn't mean they're not reading, because kids are reading every day on their smartphones and their tablets. So we now have to be creative to get them engaged.
Well, I can't add anything better to what you just said. I certainly wish every parent and teacher and principal and those in the community, without regard for what you might do for a living, to come out, see what we're doing. It'll be very well organized, and with the cooperation of the Ministry of Education and the Royal St. Lucia Police Force, we will be organizing teams of relay runners, and each day from July 3rd to Friday, July 7th, you will be seeing the children in teams running 2-kilometer segments so that they can complete their chapter.
And that is totally amazing. Now, I know there's a website as well, so you can get on it and follow. So, Richard, let them know.
Well, the website is at find52.org, and if you go there, you'll see the route, and you'll see the description of the schools for the days associated with the run.
Great. Now, I know there's also something special. We're hoping to get a special guest on here, and we have the kids really passionate about it, signing for that. Richard, you know, this is a funny story about that too. So, Richard, just let us know about that action.
I'll say to everybody, as we all know, as a member of the Commonwealth in Canada, we're always happy to see members of the royal family. Last November, I had the pleasure of meeting His Royal Highness Prince Harry. I asked him quite directly, I said, Your Highness, Your Royal Highness, I wonder if you'd care to run with about 5,000 children next July. He said, I'm sorry, mate, I've retired. I said, you shouldn't say that, because if I get enough kids, I think they're going to invite you personally to come back. And this is what this is all about. Today we're getting the signatures of about 5,000 students to implore His Royal Highness to come and run with us next July.
Great. And you know what they say, if it's worth it, you go for it. So this is why we're taking action, and we're going to try to make this happen. So make sure you follow them on their social media. Go check out their website. We're going to be following too and be part of it right here in This Morning, because we're a family and we are a family here too. So you got to keep it locked, and we're going to bring you more. Richard, thank you again for being here with us. Merci as well.
Peter.
Listen, he is St. Lucian, you know. I think by now you just need a St. Lucian passport.
That's okay.
Yeah, we'll do a petition for that one too, okay? So guys, you need to be part of it. I will be as well, and we'll see you soon.
All right, we got some runners right here.
That's our runners.
We're going to be a news.
Hey, what's up, St. Lucia? How you doing this morning? You know you're watching This Morning. I'm your girl, Chayla Mendez, and we're on your lead at DBS. This morning, I have this guy. I don't even know who you are. Who are you? You know? So people just really sneak up on my set here, and, you know, I think we need to get better security in the morning. That's what. But you know what, St. Lucia, I'm just kidding. We have a special guest here. This is James Fair, and he's in St. Lucia. He is a film producer and director. So again, we're serving you up a really good morning dish of film industry that you just need to have. So James, welcome. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
Great. Now listen, this is the most calm that we've had him, because behind the scenes, he is a ball of energy and just loads of laughs. So maybe he'll come out later. This is the film aspect coming out. So he's putting the facade on, so don't worry
It's
about that.
the wrong side of the camera. I feel really uncomfortable with that.
You see, you should have told me I put you on the wrong side.
Exactly.
But James, you are here in St. Lucia. How does it feel to be on our lovely island?
It's great. I really enjoy it. I mean, I've only been here a few days, but that already I've got a really great sense of life here and also the filmmakers. So this is just really enlightening for me, to be honest. Just seeing lots of different talent and ways in which people work. I mean, honestly, this is the sort of thing that I get most excited about, if I'm honest.
Nice. Now, is this your first maybe Caribbean experience with film?
Absolutely, this is my first Caribbean
All
experience
right.
altogether. So yeah, everything's happening for the first time.
All right, well, you're at the best place, best island, and of course you're here at DBS. See why we're number one? So this is his first experience on the island, and you're getting it firsthand. So
It's all happening here.
interacting with our filmmakers then, how do you feel about what you've been seeing and experiencing? Like, maybe is there a distinct maybe style that you're feeling out of the Caribbean so far, just through the interactions with our filmmakers?
Absolutely. There's I think that driven by a lot of enthusiasm and passion, that's really been helped with sort of digital technology and the availability of the equipment to make things. You're seeing people developing styles of their own, because perhaps there hasn't been the infrastructure around the education or training or whatever. And this is really exciting, because this for me is like, you know, someone learning to write, you know, that all of a sudden they're sort of discovering it for the first time, creating new languages, etc. So.
Okay, perfect. Because you know what? With us here, the film movement, I would say it's a little bit underground, but it's definitely coming out.
Definitely.
And that's what we have people like Colin, who's been very instrumental in pushing and rallying, trying to get people out, you know, from wherever they're hiding, pull them out to just kind of get everybody together and have the like minds working. And I think that's what we need to get that movement going, and so we can have it sustained.
Yeah.
So it's really a great thing to have persons like you with your experience as well here in St. Lucia doing that for us. So, I mean, most people don't wake up and just think, okay, hey, I'm gonna make a film, or I'm gonna be a director, or I want to screenwrite, or, you know. So at what point did you realize that you have these skills and that it would be best fit here? Because I'm sure certain people watching may not even realize, hey, this is something they'd be better off going into or working towards, you know.
For sure. No, it's a great question. I think for me it was quite simple. I didn't really see the stories that I could relate to on television or in the cinema. there were just things where I don't know, like there was lots of violence within cinema, or television tended to be quite depressing, and so I sort of I'm interested really in comedy, and I'm also interested in kind of
I can tell that.
and so I'm just interested in sort of regular people and the fun that happens in their life.
And that's what we want. And I know you also, we've had Peter on the show, and he's also really awesome. But you guys have something special, the 72-hour project.
Right.
So St. Lucia, this is something really, really fun and interesting. But, just let them know exactly what the project is all about.
So the 72 project is quite simple. That obviously a movie takes months, right? It takes ages to make. So we decided that what would be really cool is to just do all of that in 72 consecutive hours, shooting, editing, and then going into the cinema and watching it with a whole audience of people. So we've done this quite a few times, and so the question, everyone's like, "How can that must be everyone assumes that must be terrible. It must be really bad."
Yeah.
We just work differently. That digital technology means that you've probably got a camera phone, right? So this is no longer like a piece of technology that people will take 30 years to get to be the one who touches the camera. So people have got these skills that you can, if you join into a community of people and work together and arrange yourself differently, you can go about making a film in 72 hours.
And what about people who maybe want to see some of the work from the project? Is there anywhere that St. Lucia can go check it out so they can keep following?
I mean, there's a website called the72project.org, which has got all of the stories so far. We've produced 3 features under this, one in Ireland, one in Australia, one in the UK, and it's just so much information there about TV interviews, radio interviews, all of the story about how it works. It's very transparent. So it's not about a magic trick. It's all about sharing the information and sharing the education. So it's an educational experience and an empowering experience. So by coming together and making something, you share something that's great that you're talking about for years afterwards.
All right, so St. Lucia, I hope you heard that. I think that's something really important too. We need to just come together. Because like you said, sometimes people have these skills and then they get selfish with it because they feel threatened. Like, okay, if I share with you, then you're going to get better. But then again, there's succession and progress. And if you're the only one with that skill, when you're gone, who's there to, keep it going?
All the evidence is that people get better together. Like if you look at like great Hollywood cinema, they were all in school together. They all came up alongside one another, and they keep one another in check. And they, yes, they compete, but it's a friendly competition, and they collaborate.
And that's how you get great ideas too.
Absolutely.
Sometimes you get it on your own, and then other times it's kind of slow. But you're in a group and like-minded people, and boom, everything comes flowing.
That's so true.
So good stuff. Well, James, thank you very much for being here with us. And I promise that it would not have been much torture.
Yeah.
Listen, it was such a pleasure having James here, and continue to enjoy the rest of the island too. We're so happy to have you here, and again for your contribution here in helping our film industry grow. So, St. Lucia, if you don't go check out the website, you have nobody to blame but yourself. James hooked you up. I just helped you get hooked up. So don't blame me if you don't go check it out, okay? So we'll see you soon. Thanks again for being here. Hey, good people, this is how we do it right here on a Thursday. So no day really is going to be left in the dark. You're going to enjoy every single day, and I hope that we did this for you this morning. Everybody who's our loyal viewers, thank you so much. And again, keep the good vibes going, keep the energy going. Tell your friends, neighbors, everybody to go check us out on YouTube. That way you can catch anything that you've missed or anything that you want to see again. It's all at your disposal right there on YouTube. Just search DBS Morning Show and then you will find us, all right? So people, with that said, go out and have an amazing day. Create a great one. And of course, keep spreading the love and vibrations. And family, we're going to see you back tomorrow. It's a Friday, so we got Soca Size and we have DIY Fridays. So you don't want to miss it. Have a good one. We'll see you tomorrow.